a special Dero Market update for Nonsensus 2023. This is your host, Mr. A, coming to you pre-recorded to Nonsensus. I was hoping that I'll be able to join in live during the last presentation, but that will not be possible. So I'm recording this video for you guys to enjoy at the conference. I'm obviously not able to be there in person for a variety of reasons, but Raf was able to make it in person. So I'm really happy to know that he's there. I think you guys are very lucky to have him there. He's an old Bitcoin OG with lots of experience, especially in the on-chain economy aspect of things. So since you have him in person, really do take advantage of your personal time with him and use this time and knowledge to advance all your projects, advance Dero ecosystem using those concepts, because we're entering a phase I think it's very important for the ecosystem. And going forward, things are lining up for a very great next 2 years for Dero as an ecosystem, but also for the price action. We'll be getting to the price action in a moment. But before I do that, I just want to thank everyone for all your support over the past couple of years, especially my projects. Again, I wish I could be there in person, but I can't. So to those that are there and I'll connect with over the past couple of years, sending you my love and regards. I hope you guys are having an awesome time. I'll be living vicariously through you. So the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to get into Dero price. I'll be looking from a very long-term perspective and then working my way down to the absolute shortest time frames. So you have an idea where things are headed, especially over the next couple weeks and couple of months into year end. First thing I'm going to show is what seems to be the most popular chart out there, and people are always asking me to show this. And this is the Dero log growth chart. This is a logarithmic chart. As you can see, the price is not linear. It goes up logarithmically here on the right side. You see the space between 4 and 5 is the same space as between 16 and 20, but the price difference is higher because it's growing logarithmically. And you can see here that Dero has been in this channel, went to bottom to the top and back towards the bottom like it is right now, since the price action has been recorded here in 2018. Now, what's important about this is that most altcoins don't really manage to do this. They're a one-trick pony. They will start somewhere like this and then have a launch pump, go down the bottom, go parabolic during an altcoin season, then break down, get all the way down to here to these lower levels, break out of the channel, and start making lower lows, and they bleed forever into obsolescence. And it becomes a logarithmic loss channel till they get closer and closer to zero over time, but taking a long time doing it. And that seems to be the case for 99.5% of altcoins out there. So when I see an altcoin that manages to hold this channel over 2 cycles and 2 bull markets, which seems like it is what it's doing right now, is holding this here, then it becomes a really interesting chart and asset that you want to be getting into. Monero is very similar at the very beginning, where actually it pumped towards the $25 area and then dumped down to 2, and eventually got up to 100 and then 500 on a parabolic move to the upside. This is very reminiscent of the Monero chart from way back when, which I was also into it very early. And I see many similarities between the Monero community early on and Dero community early on. And that's why this project continues to be one of the ones that excite me the most. I remain bullish on it. It's not without its challenges over the next couple of years as we enter this bull market. And there's lots of important things that are happening, will be happening to make it grow both in the adoption and in value. And I think growing value is something that's very good for the whole ecosystem, because when things grow in value as a collective, we're able to redeploy capital to grow the ecosystem even further and advance the Dero proposition to the whole world. So growth in value is great. I think it's fantastic to grow wealth for everyone, especially people who are in early who are collecting the fruits of their labor for taking so much risk. So when we look at this right now, you can see that we got as low as 226 here, okay? And it's very close to the bottom of the channel. It has not touched yet. Doesn't mean that it can't, but it does have the looks of a bottom formation of sorts, which is nice to see. Dero is actually very good at its cycles, and it's very easy to track cycles within Dero. And this cycle here that's happening right here is very reminiscent of a previous cycle on the last market. And I'll be showing that on the next chart. But looking at this, you can see that we just hit some resistance right here. It was expected at the middle Bollinger Band on the indicator here. Once we conquer this, I think 475 to $5 will come quickly. So we know we can conquer that 315 level, but doesn't stop us from going a little bit lower again and creating sort of more flattened bottom before this occurs. Something similar to this back here or this back here. This is very possible. But as long as we remain in this channel, I remain bullish. If we're to pump to the moon tomorrow, top of the channel is at $84. As we progress going into 2024, 2025, this channel keeps getting higher and higher towards the $100 level. And then into late 2025, it's at 130. And sometimes things break out of channels and go a lot higher. And the same way they can break down out of channels and go a lot lower. So we're not going to stop ourselves from considering that's a possibility. But when we get up to top here and things get frothy, that's in a place to consider just taking some capital off the table and then redeploying it into other projects, parts of your life, helping other people, and saving a chunk to buying a low again and get your stash back. But either way, this looks amazing. This is a rare chart to see in an altcoin. And we'll be moving on to the next chart right here, which is the Bitcoin to Dero chart, also on the weekly scale on Trade Ogre. And they say the history does not repeat itself, but it rhymes. And it certainly seems to be rhyming right now. You see, I've marked this from the previous cycle, this top right here and this higher top right here. And then it bled down into this falling wedge. It eventually created a bottom, and we moved all the way up into the top of a bull market. Now, this is also very similar. We had a top off the bear market bottom, just like this one here. And we had a second higher top, just like this one here. And then we started bleeding down towards a wedge, like we did over here. And the wedge here actually broke below the lows of the previous low here on the bear market low, and then making a lower low. And that was it. Then it went sideways and finally came out of it. Here's the thumbs up, and up we went. But that thumbs up didn't happen until we had a thumbs down rejection halfway down. And here, same thing, falling wedge, rejection off the wedge halfway down. We're now at the bottom. We look like we're trying to break out of that wedge on the weekly scale right here. So I've put a question mark with a thumbs up because it's likely that we can continue sideways for a few weeks and then begin our climb into a bull market that could last up to 2 years, just like this previous one. So history is rhyming. Dero has been very respectful of the technicals. As we got down towards this wedge right here, we're the most oversold ever. The amount of selling is just extreme that was happening in this wedge over here. Things were more negative than they were back here in this, we weren't even in the live network back then. We're still on Atlantis, which is essentially a test net, and now we're actually live. Things got even more negative. I don't think this is a place to be getting negative on the project anyways. And I think that the sellers who are selling here are going to be very regretful when they see where this goes and turns around and where it heads up to afterwards. So this is the place to get bullish. This is the place to accumulate. Even if we go slightly a bit lower and the wedge was not fully complete, the fact that things are this extreme is a time to actually start getting bullish and accumulating down here. So on a weekly scale, it looks very good. And like I said, it's rhyming. And this rhyme is a very good thing to see because when a coin behaves like this, it's called an oscillator coin, which means it's not in endless degeneration against Bitcoin. It's oscillating against Bitcoin, which is bullish. And there's very few oscillator coins out there. Ethereum happens to be an oscillator coin. And Dogecoin, believe it or not, happens to be an oscillator coin. and they're very rare to see. So seeing one chart doing this oscillation against Bitcoin is, again, a very bullish thing, and looking poised to come out of this and start heading up in this kind of manner over the next year and then the second year after that. So that's it on the weekly. The next thing I want to show was basically the daily chart. On the daily, as we progressed down inside the wedge, I just showed, I targeted 3 different areas where Dero could have bottomed. It was not the first one, it was not the second one, and this is the third one. And I haven't moved these circles since I put them in here. And this one is the first one that seems poised to actually create a bottom. We have a structure that is somewhat inverse head and shoulders. Here's the left shoulder, or a head, and a right shoulder. Doesn't mean that they can't test the bottom a little lower again, but the moving averages are getting flatter, trying to crank and grind against the resistance. And if we keep going sideways for a while longer and then finally break out to the upside, that will be most excellent. And this is the Bitcoin pair. And Bitcoin's obviously pumping, and most altcoins are down in the dumps right now, making lower lows against Bitcoin. Look at the Ethereum chart or even Monero chart to see how that's behaving. And Dero is just holding its ground and staying flat against Bitcoin. And that's another positive sign that gets me feeling more bullish on this project. And another reason to be accumulating here, because it is maintaining a flat and not dumping completely against Bitcoin. So that's a nice thing to see. And then as we move to the 4-hour, you can see here we're still inside the circle. The 4-hour chart is actually showing me an extremely exhausted bear trend now. It's been ongoing for just so many weeks. I think it's 35 weeks of downside so far. So it's over half a year. And you can see here just a couple of days ago, this cloudy area below here turned black, which means this bear trend has reached maximum exhaustion. Doesn't mean the bear trend's over. No, doesn't mean it's over, but it is fully exhausted, and the chances of downside now are much more limited. And this is not a place to be getting bearish at all. It's an actual place to be buying. And if you get anywhere down close to here, 8,300 Satoshis or so area, that's a place to keep adding more and take the last opportunity to buy under 10,000 Satoshis, because anything below 10,000, you'll be very happy when this thing goes up 10x and, you have 100,000 Satoshis in prices. So that's fully possible to occur. And seeing this in the 4-hour is the beginning, really, of a bottoming process and a bear trend that is going to end in probably not the so distant future. And we really just need to see this thing hold above 10,000 sats, and we'll know the bottom is in. But this is very encouraging to see here on the 4-hour chart. I'm not going to focus on any lower time frames beyond this. This is as low as I want to get on this pair. The next thing I'm going to look at is the USD pair on the daily, because it's also showing a nice bottom structure. This looks like a W bottom. This is on Coinex Exchange on the daily, with a nice pump all the way back to above $3 into 337. Moving averages on the daily have started to cross positive, but things did get overheated coming off of this after all of this green candles and all this action. Now it is going to roll over and probably test this area below here, and again make another inverse head and shoulders type structure. They continue going flat for a while and eventually pump in the way I showed history rhyming in the past. So if we get down towards this, 242 to 263 area, that's also another area to be accumulating more. And anything below 250 really is a place to be accumulating more over the next while, until this eventually turns around and starts going up higher towards the 420 area. Yep, that's 420 right here, and much higher hopefully after that. So that's the daily. I will focus on the 4 hours, see what's really happening in the very short term here. And on the very short term, you can see that the entire bear trend we've been in for 35 weeks has now become a no trend state. So there it is, says no trend. It's essentially flat. No trend is what we see before it becomes a bull trend. In order to become a bull trend, we really just have to start trading above 350 and hold steady above there. And this thing will be in a bull trend in USD. So once we are in a bull trend in USD, this thing will be tracking along with Bitcoin and probably even outperforming Bitcoin over the next year or two. And that's why the Satoshi pair that we just looked at will start outperforming Bitcoin as well, because USD pair is going to move a lot faster as it moves along. Here you can see the green box below. That's our accumulation zone down in that 242 to 263 area. Anything that goes down there should be bought. Cooling off. How much more lower we're going to get, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it has too much room on the FAR to go much lower, but the daily does. So if you get a chance and a shot at these levels here below, buy them, because eventually this is going to squeeze. And when we get up to here, it is going to go a lot higher, and we'll be at $5 sooner than you can think about buying. So take the opportunity here and buy more if you can. So that's the 4 hour. I'm going to put it back on our log growth chart, and I just want to show the monthly as the last thing, so you have an idea of what it is that's going on in the very long time frame, and why I still think it's still possible to get a little bit lower just in case it does happen. The monthly broke the middle Bollinger Band right here. It's been heading down since then, and now it's down here in this area. Could this be a bottom? Yes, but in the past, this also had a bottom that had a pump and then actually made the lower low, touched the line, and that was the bottom, and eventually it went up. So I'm not close to that possibility on a monthly scale where we touch the bottom of the line, and you can see here the lower Bollinger Band will be at the line tomorrow. So by tomorrow, this lower Bollinger Band, which is a target off the middle Bollinger Band, will be at the bottom here tomorrow. And if we get $2 or just sub $2 for any reason whatsoever, that's the spot where you just pounce that, because once it hits that, it should have a nice reaction like this if we touch the bottom of this chart, and then we can actually have a reversal in place. So we could have a reverse right here. I like the way it looks. It looks fantastic. But for some weird reason, we have one more dump next month. That's probably the final opportunity to get in and wait for a visit up to the top here as we progress over the next year. So that's it for my Dero update. I hope you guys enjoyed it and gave you an idea of where things are headed. I think it's very positive, and you should be feeling positive about it, even though the bots and market makers are feeling negative about the price action. I don't think that's the thing to be doing. I do hope you guys are having an awesome conference. And like I said, I'll be living vicariously through you. And if any of you feel like sending me a message and give me an update on what's going on or something cool that's happening, by all means, please do so. And again, one more reminder, Raf there in person, take advantage of that knowledge and experience he's got there and use that to advance your projects and advance the ecosystem. So I hope you guys have an awesome day today. Today is Halloween, and you also have a couple more days of Nonsensus action ahead of you. I hope that you guys have a great time and that many productive and amazing things come out of this conference. And special thanks to the organizers for making this happen. I think it's very important to have conferences, and conferences in a privacy-oriented ecosystem can be a little more difficult, as a lot of people cannot attend due to privacy concerns. But those of you who expose yourselves and become the public faces of this, your work is acknowledged and deeply appreciated for being the faces of the ecosystem. Just like Raf is the public face of TCV, I appreciate each and every one of you guys who make yourselves publicly known to help the cause on behalf of all of us. So hope you guys have an awesome end of your day, and I'll hopefully connect with you online and touch base in the next while about some awesome things that are happening. So have a good one, and until next time.
Now we are dealing with a possible world war. Some will say we are already in a world war. My condolences and prayers go out to everyone suffering under tyranny. It really sucks. I'm really sorry. But it seems as if people are starting to wake up regarding crypto more and more each day. And so it's in the description right here to read, where we give our secret sauce and what we teach our subscribers, because things are just that bad. You know, everyone needs this information. People need to know about sound cryptocurrencies that are actually private by default, and to know how to properly use crypto.